What's up guys? Today's video is going to be quite a bit different than normal. I am going to be covering Iain M. Banks's The Culture, but more specifically the Folio Society's edition of Consider Phlebas, the player of games, and use of weapons. Now, I've been a part of the Folio Society subreddit and also the Culture subreddit for a little bit of time, and people keep asking the exact same questions, and it dawned on me that, if people keep asking the same questions, there should probably be a video covering the answers and also just going over what makes these books so beautiful. Now, this video is not going to be going over the books from a plot or character standpoint. This isn't that type of review. I'm just going to be discussing the books and whether I think they are worth the asking price. And yes, I do admit, over here in the United States, it is quite the asking price, especially when you take into consideration shipping and handling. So without further ado, let's jump in. Now for Consider Phlebas, the book comes in this blocked slipcase that's navy with these gold stars, and it's really beautiful. It matches the book itself very well. The book is bound in blocked cloth. Now, Folio Society books typically come in cloth or they come in paper. This one here is the cloth, and I just love the feel of it. It feels great in your hands. And you have this beautiful lettering over here in just an off shade of blue to really kind of stand out, with the gold emblem and the gold Folio Society logo. And I think it looks great. And you're immediately welcomed by this illustration by the artist Daniel Taylor. Now, I've seen a lot of criticism of his art, and because I guess it's a little bit more subdued than people were looking for, and in a lot of aspects, it is kind of darker and moody. But I think it's fitting with the culture and what Consider Phlebas is about. Another cool thing that Folio Society does is that they have this illustrations page. So you can see the name of each artwork and the page that it's on. Sometimes, as is this case, you can see what the illustration is referring to with the page number. So it's really cool. I'm not going to go over all of the art just because I really love when I open one of the Folio's books and I see an illustration for the first time. That surprise is a lot of fun. Our second illustration is the Temple of Light, and I really love the contrast between the bright orange and the dark temple in the front. It really works for me. It makes everything pop a little bit more. And you'll notice here as I'm flipping through the pages, they have great use of white space. I think that's kind of an underrated aspect of reading. It's something that I wish publishers focused on a little bit more. And again here on page 113, we have another illustration that's very subdued, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, because I do see people complaining about this, that the style is somehow underwhelming. But again, I do think it's fitting for the world, especially as we get into the player of games and use of weapons, which, I do recognize doesn't really help you in Consider Phlebas. I do think it is a valid criticism that there isn't more art. The book it's a large book. We have over 550 pages, yet there's only 7 illustrations. And that's kind of a hard sell when you're, marketing a book for $145 plus $25 to get it shipped here to the United States. And not for nothing, my copy of The Road, which is also Folio Society, has 6 illustrations, and it was $80. So it is something to consider. Now, whether it's worth that price, that's going to be entirely up to you. I personally really like all of the details that Folio Society puts into the books. I mean, even this binding here, it's sewn, it's not glued, and it's orange in order to match the emblem and that front page. Overall, for Consider Phlebas, I think it's a beautiful book. If you're a fan of the series already, or you're looking to get into Folio Society, this is a great one. Now, would I buy it again? Absolutely. Now let's jump into the player of games. Similar to Consider Phlebas, this is bound in cloth with foil blocked in red and gold, and it does come with a blocked slipcase. I should have mentioned for Consider Phlebas, but there is a secret inside of each slipcase. I'm not going to spoil what it is. I will leave that to you when you buy it and you find out, but they're all pretty cool. And again, I think the book looks and feels great. The cloth is fantastic, and the red color, it really pops with the gold stars, just like the blue, and you'll see with use of weapons with the green. They really chose fantastic colors. And you can see here that the binding is also with the yellow or gold here. Again, the details with Folio Society, fantastic work. And Folio continued with Daniel Taylor as their illustrator, I think wisely. I really love the art here. It's that muted palette, but just enough yellow and orange to really kind of make things pop. If you didn't like it from Consider Phlebas, I do think the player of games has a little bit of a stronger effort when it comes to the illustrations. And like Consider Phlebas, we have 7 illustrations. However, because it is half the size of Consider Phlebas, it does feel like more art per word. Well, I guess that's probably because there is more art per word. And it's just so much fun as you're reading and you're constantly coming across new illustrations. Like this first one, when I came across Gurgi and Ye playing a Zod, it's not exactly how I visioned it in my brain, but I think it's beautiful. I love their silhouettes up front, again with that bright orangish yellow color in the back to really kind of make things stand out. And as you guessed it, with this next illustration, Daniel, he kind of has a theme here. He started it in Consider Phlebas, the muted palette with the bright orangish yellow, and my man is dedicated to it. We have it again right here. Now, if this is something that's going to bother you, well, it is something to consider when you're about to purchase this. I personally don't mind it, but maybe a different color palette would have really kind of lended itself to the player of games, or perhaps roll with one color palette and Consider Phlebas, and then something different in player of games. But again, as you can see, it's something that Daniel really loved, and that's okay by me. And the illustrations, they're printed on this nice glossy paper that is just a bit thicker than the rest of the book. And I know I said that I was only going to show about 3 illustrations per book, but this last one, I really love it because it is their Imperial Highness of the College of Kansev, the Prince of Space, the Defender of the Faith, the Master of Fires, the Emperor Regent, Nico Sar the First. And now that I'm re-looking at this with you, it kind of reminds me of Denis Villeneuve's Dune, especially the second one. It just has that aesthetic to it, and probably plays a part in why I love it so much, because I loved those movies. But yeah, guys, that is the player of games. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. And now we're finally getting to use of weapons, which is actually my favorite of the 3 that have been published. And you can tell already, guys, we got a new color palette. Yes, that's right, we have blue stars instead of gold stars. And I mean, I think it looks great. Or at least I think that they're supposed to be stars, but truthfully, I don't know, maybe Daniel just decided one day he was gonna throw some paint at the green and, it worked. Now, my slipcase did get a little bit beat up in shipping, but it's coming overseas. It's kind of to be expected. I'm just calling it out because a lot of people are very particular when it comes to their slipcases. Me, the slipcase is there to protect my book, and it did its job. Now, I really like this one. I can't remember what the hell they're called from math, fractals or something like that. I don't know, I failed math, so don't take my word for it. But we have the blue sewn pages again, and I think it's a really nice detail that it matches the emblem on the front and also the stars, not stars, whatever the hell they are. I also like the lime green here. Now guys, I know what you're thinking as we open this. We're getting more orangish yellow illustrations, but boy do I have a surprise for you. That is right, we've been upgraded to muted green. Long gone are the days of monochromatic New York City taxi cab colors. We have this beautiful washed out green look. Good job, Daniel. And I don't say that sarcastically either. I do really like that we went from orange over to the green. I think it's just a little bit more befitting use of weapons. Similar to Player of Games and Consider Phlebas, we have our illustrations page, and once again, you'll notice that we have 7 illustrations. If you like the illustrations in Player of Games and Consider Phlebas, I think you're going to have a lot to like here. Oh, there goes my slipcase. But if you didn't like the illustrations in the last 2 books, I don't think there's going to be a lot here to change your mind. Let me know in the comments below whether you like this more subtle take or you're looking for something a little bit more bombastic like what La Boca did with Philip K. Dick's Ubik. I think that style really has a place, but maybe not with the culture. This one, I think Daniel Taylor is doing something really interesting with light. It kind of makes your eyes, it draws you to Sma and the machine as they're slipping through the giant door behind them. Although I really do like that one, it's this next one that, as you can see, I'm really kind of struggling to find. You would think it would be easier. Yep, gotta flip back to the illustrations page. You'd think it would be easier considering it's a different texture than the rest of the pages, but I can never find it. Here we go. And it's this city speckled with dim lights, seemingly sitting strangely silent and motionless. I love the green in the mountains, but then also in the light itself here in the foreground. I've always had this fascination with architecture, especially in science fiction, and Daniel really captures what I was trying to put together in my head. He did a wonderful job. Now just flipping through to one of the final illustrations. Again, I don't want to share everything because it is really fun to open these books and be surprised. Someone recently asked how Folio books handle being read repeatedly, and while I haven't read these culture novels multiple times, I have read Pet Sematary by Stephen King twice and Orwell's 1984 twice or 3 times, and they handle beautifully. I haven't noticed any kind of wear or damage along the spine, covers, or any of the pages. Now, there is one thing that I wanted to call off. You can kind of see it here along the edges. Because this is a cloth-bound book, sometimes it's not pilling per se. I guess it frays a little bit. I don't think it's anything to worry about, but it is something worth noting. Now, would I buy this book again? Absolutely. Thank you.